go back to the tense situation that continues in Patiala. Now, this is over, of course, a march that was supposed to be taken out by the Sena in Patiala. The situation over there continues to still remain tense. We understand that this was supposed to be an anti-Khalistan march that the Sena was wanting to take out, but thereafter the situation turned tense when pro-Khalistan supporters moved on to the streets. Now, the situation there right now continues to remain tense. The police, of course, is trying to make sure that they can bring back calm to the streets of Patiala. The police, of course, earlier on said that they are speaking to both sides to try and bring a solution to this crisis. Now, what we understand is that there are questions being raised by the Sena as to why these protesters were allowed to come close to this, because the Sena did seek permission from the police to carry out this march. Now, the situation currently, of course, in Patiala continues to remain tense. We are given to understand that both sides are talking to each other.
से पहले कभी नहीं देखी गई। प्रो खालिस्तानी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, वो कभी भी किसी के साथ क्लैश नहीं किया। वो अपना जो एजेंडा है वो चुप करके चलाते हैं, इस तरह से सड़कों पे नहीं आते हैं। लेकिन आज पहली बार इस तरह से सड़कों के ऊपर निकले हैं और ऊपर निकलने के बाद ये हालात पटियाला के नज़र आ रहे हैं, जो इस वक्त तस्वीरों में साफ ये दर्शा रहे हैं कि आखिरकार लॉ एंड ऑर्डर सिचुएशन पंजाब की किस तरफ जा रही है। जी श्वेता।
You were talking to the police earlier and they were saying that they are trying to talk to both sides to get them to agree on this. But give us an update on the situation right now on the streets. I don't think we've got Amandeep. We're going to try and patch him back in just a bit. But the situation continues to remain tense in Patiala. What we understand is that the police are trying to broker peace between the two groups. I'm going to go back to Amandeep. Amandeep, give us a sense of what's happening there right now. We understand that you...
बरसाए जाएंगे और कहां पे इनको रोकना है और किस तरह के रोकना है, वो सारी एक योजना के तहत ही हुआ होगा, क्योंकि शिवसेना ने पुलिस को एक रूट दिया था। इस रूट के तहत वो मार्च निकलेगा और जो रूट है वो एस्टैब्लिश कर दिया गया था कि हाँ कि इस रूट के तहत इनको परमिशन है, वहीं पे वे जा सकते हैं और वो पब्लिक भी किया गया था कि इस रूट के तहत ही शिवसेना का मार्च निकलेगा। यानी कि जो लोग उस मार्च का विरोध करने वाले थे, जो लोग खालिस्तान जिंदाबाद के नारे लगा रहे हैं, उन लोगों को ये पता था कि किस रोड से ये निकलना था। इसी वजह से ये क्लैश जो है वो बढ़ता चला गया। पत्थर ऊपर से भी, छतों से पत्थर आ रहे हैं, सड़क से तलवार निकल रही है, मैन हैंडलिंग हो रही है, धक्का मुक्की हो रही है, पुलिस भी बीच में जो है वो रगड़ती हुई नजर आ रही है। लॉ एंड ऑर्डर सिचुएशन कहीं और ही जा रही है। ये सारे हालात जो हैं, ये सारे हालात जो हैं, ये पंजाब के लिए बहुत ही अच्छे हालात नहीं हैं। ऐसा पंजाब में पहले कभी नहीं हुआ। 1984 से खालिस्तान का एजेंडा चलता रहा, लेकिन जब एंटी टेररिस्ट फोर्सों ने खालिस्तान की जो वेव है उसको डाउन कर दिया था, उसके बाद
All right. Amandeep, of course, continuing to bring us updates from there. But Dr. Bhatti, the former Punjab DGP, is on the phone line with us. Dr. Bhatti, what we understand is that the situation continues to remain tense in Patiala. There are two sides who are still out on the streets fighting with each other. Can you give us, an update on why the situation did go so bad? Because we have these scenes playing out on the streets of Patiala.
Madam, it's a very unfortunate. It should not have happened, because for the last so many years there is a peace in Punjab, and I personally blame the district administration. They should not have permitted Shiv Sena to take out possession. They should have preempted their designs to take out possession, and action should have been taken if they would have insisted on. I think it's totally failure on the part of the district administration. They should have optimized all these things. And 2-3 days back when I read in the newspaper, I was thinking of that this is going to happen, because it has to be imposed by other radical elements. And I feel that we have to be very, very careful the way Jaish-e-Mohammed is threatening, the Babars are threatening. and the Pakistan coming closer to America, and this is not a good sign for Punjab especially. So I personally feel that the administration at all level should gird up and take adequate measures to preempt all these things. Thank you.
Absolutely, Dr. Bhatti, as you're pointing out, these are not desirable scenes that we are seeing on the streets of Patiala playing out, given the fact that this is a border state. And as you yourself pointed out, tensions of this sort can lead to a challenge to the law and order.
After this 92-93, when we had been able to manage it very effectively, and all the terrorist groups which are active outside, they tried their best to have recruitment, and the people were not coming out to support them. So such things will certainly give them sort of a flip, that new young generation, like the boys have opposed in Patiala. So I think administration should have preempted all these designs, whether it's Shiv Sena or Pro-Khalistan elements. And we want to live in peace. We want to have a good law and order. And I think adequate measures should be taken by the administration. Thank you.
Absolutely, Dr. Bhatti. Appreciate your speaking to us on Republic TV. So visuals on your screen are coming to you from Patiala, where the situation still is not under control of the police. Questions are being raised as to why the police was not able to prevent the situation. Obviously, those are matters of investigation that will be answered later on. But right now, what we understand is that there are two groups, one of the radical Sikh group and one from the Shiv Sena, which are out on the streets. And pictures like this, of course, not desirable at all coming in from Patiala. The situation continues to remain tense. Now, the police, of course, who we have been speaking to, are saying that they are trying to calm tempers on both sides. They are trying to ensure that they can restore law and order to the streets of Patiala right now. So what actually happened was that we understand that there was a planned march that the Shiv Sena wanted to take out against pro-Khalistan groups. That was given permission by the Punjab police, and thereafter there were radical groups of Sikhs who went on to the streets of Patiala and opposed this march. Thereafter, of course, the situation went rapidly out of hand, and both sides, of course, did do some stone pelting as well. Amandeep is back with us. Amandeep, if you can take us through what's happening there right now, and what attempts is the police making to make sure that they can contain this as soon as possible? Amandeep, if you can hear us, can you take us through what the police is doing to be able to contain this as soon as possible? Because what we understand is that there is stone pelting that is going on currently on the streets of Patiala, and the situation, of course, continues to remain tense, with both sides not willing to go down on their demands at the moment. All right, I'm going to go back to Amandeep in just a bit, but Mr. Subhash Sharma from the BJP is on the phone line with me. Mr. Sharma, what's happening? This is a situation that is not desirable at all.
Yeah, it is not desirable at all. It is very unfortunate. The forces which want to disturb the peace and harmony of Punjab are active in Punjab. And unfortunately, our government is sleeping. Our Chief Minister is busy in doing PR exercise for Arvind Kejriwal. He is busy in Gujarat, he is busy in Himachal, he is busy in selling interest of Punjab to Delhi. And law and order situation is deteriorating for last 1 month. About 30 murders have been taken place in Punjab in last month. So this is complete failure of police administration and district administration and the government.
Absolutely, and as you're pointing out, the administration perhaps should have been more cognizant of the situation and how things could go so wrong.
Yeah, these organizations had declared that they would do that. And in spite of the declaration, there was no preparation by the police administration and district administration. They allowed situation to be worse.
Right. So you believe that the district administration and the police should have done a better job of this. Thank you very much, Mr. Sharma. Right, Mr. Sharma, thank you very much for joining us with your views. Now, as Mr. Sharma is, of course, saying that he feels, and we were also speaking to the former DGP of Punjab, he feels that perhaps the administration should have been more cognizant of how things could go wrong.
And those are the visuals on your screens right now, viewers, of the kind of clashes that have really broken out in Patiala. And we are also learning reportedly that several police officials had also been attacked upon, and several of them have sustained injuries. My colleague Amardeep continues to stay with us on the ground. Amardeep, tell us more about what's really happening on the ground right now. Is the situation under control? What is the investigation going on like by the police officials?
Well, Priyanka, the point is that priority of the police is to diffuse this protest and clash, just because now both the groups are sitting on the road protesting against each other, asking and demanding action against each other. On one side, the pro-Khalistani groups are sitting on the road in Patiala, and on the other side, Shiv Sena is sitting on the protest and asking to de-escalate the pro-Khalistani people and arrest them with a serious charge. But the priority of the police is that they are trying to diffuse and negotiate with both the groups so that at least situation should came under control, and then later on the investigation will be launched who was at the fault and how this entirely happened. Is there any conspiracy or it was spur of the movement? Just because the kind of visuals that are visible on the screen are very much shocking, that how people have pelted the stones from the terrace of their houses, and even the swords were brandishing on the roads when the Shiv Sena announced to roll out the march against the Khalistan.